Oh.
It's time for
Yo!
We are joined here by Mothman this week.
This is just a fun... Rod, okay, wait. I'm just going to do the thingy. Welcome to Murder Moose Podcast, episode 160. Part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
It's in the game.
It's in the game.
It's in my ass.
I mean, as long as it's there with consent, Ken.
Oh, was that sound effect going into your ass? Was that...
Oh. Ooh, ooh, Daddy Josh. Ooh.
Dude, this onesie is so warm, and it's like the softest onesie, and it's not like sweaty warm. I don't know who got me this because they bought it under anonymous. So thank you, whoever got me this off my throne list. You're the tits.
I gotta start looking into warmer stuff because it's snowing in Calgary right now, fucking cold, and I had to do like a thing for work like outside today, and I was like holding on to the fact that it should still be fall and not winter, so I didn't wear enough fucking clothes, and I was so cold. It was so dumb and so Canadian.
Can I just tell you, you looked slick and sharp AF this weekend, though.
Thank you. In the
You were
mountains.
a sexy man, Josh.
Yeah.
We
were a
were at
sexy
a
man.
5-star hotel in Lake Louise, like the Chateau Fairmont or whatever. I don't fucking know. So Tiana was like, "No, I'm bringing my princess clothes. You're bringing your prince clothes. Let's go." And yeah, we looked good. We got complimented a lot, so I was like, "Oh, I guess we do look."
Well, you're both very
Josh.
attractive people in general anyway, so...
And Josh got his dick on. He slang that dick. He slang it.
I got to send you a picture
like-
of what we were looking at from our room. So yes,
Yeah.
my dick was getting mountains.
Dude, it was after being in Vegas all weekend and watching the giant scary dome thing that scares the shit out of you while you're sitting there. It's just sitting there and there's a giant fucking emoji face making weird things at you across the city of Vegas. It's very odd.
I've been there so many times. I fucking love that place. It's just good times.
It is a wild, wild place. Where else can you get like 2-foot tall drinks and then like get hit on by random people who want to take your picture and then like eat a $25 cheeseburger and then ride a roller coaster out of a casino? You could do lots of things in Vegas that are very, very odd.
The roller coaster thing is what makes it.
Dude, it's $25 for a fucking roller coaster ride. I'm like, I'm living the experience, but like, what the fuck is going on, man? What the fuck is going on? I don't know if I'm eating my own hair at this point. What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is going on?
Ooh.
Oh, whoa.
So how the fuck are you beautiful people? I missed my first episode of Murder Moose that I missed.
It was fucking weird, but it was awesome.
I know.
No, it wasn't. It was great.
Ken and I
Just
had
kidding. We missed you.
yeah, but
It was a very non-ADHD episode, but still ADHD episode. It was very weird.
I mean,
well, because it's
when
just two of us, so there was like a coherency to the conversation that I think kind of like when there's 3 people with ADHD and Rod starts going off, and then you and I do our like zone out ADHD thing, and then he finishes his own conversation with himself or something because we're not even here, then it's, I think that's our normal dynamic. Whereas if it's when it was just Rod and I feel like there was that that as well. There was more coherence in the conversation, but I love what we have now. It's fucking fantastic.
3 times 3 is 9. 3 cubed is 27. So I mean, where you're going, there's a lot more ADHD when you have 3 of us.
Yep. It was fantastic.
And now Mothman is doing the best of dances. Yeah, I was going to listen to the episode, but I didn't get to watch the movie yet. So I was like,
we made fun of you a lot. but you know,
That's my everyday normal life, my friend. I stream and make content. People make fun of me constantly. It is how I live my life. How I live my life. Yeah.
well, you're good at it.
How you guys been? How is everything? Josh is going on adventures. Ken is turning into Mothman.
Ken's losing her mind.
I mean,
More
as
so
usual?
than usual.
oh, more than usual?
Yeah.
Ken, don't keep
What?
that. Ken, keep
I
that
don't need
mind.
it.
Don't lose it. You
What am
do
I
need
using it for? I live in my parents' basement and I own no property of any kind other than a cell phone and a computer. I don't need my mind anymore. It's done. Gone.
Well, I want you to have it.
Just kidding.
Because you
I'm doing good.
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 Kenny poo poo. Kenny just streamed for 12 hours today, so she
I
may be
did.
loopy.
A little bit.
No,
Yo,
poopy.
you have to watch Follow the House of Usher.
I need to. I haven't had any time, but it's on my to-do list.
Yes. Yes, it is. You will watch it and you will enjoy it. And then we will watch it a second time. And then I will fangirl over Mike Flanagan's work even more. And then you will watch it again. Because that's what we do here.
Ken, this is the condition we're making. I'll watch Follow the House of Usher
Fuck you.
after after you watch Psycho Gorman.
Oh, I don't know. It looks all right, but it also looks like
Holy shit, that's beautiful. Sorry, side.
that was literally from the from the window of the hotel, and I was every time I
need to see
walked
this.
in or sat down or did anything, I was just like, what the fuck? How am I?
So
wow.
pretty.
And the water was way more aqua than that. That it was like muted first thing in the morning there. Oh.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, dude.
I was making that sound.
I hope you had some amazing sex because holy
Oh,
shit.
of course I did.
I'm getting hard from looking at that picture.
Of course. Come on.
That picture makes me horny, Josh. I mean, let's go.
There was a lot of mountain.
Mounting in mountains. That's the best
Yeah.
place to mount. Mountains.
It was good. It was a Lord of the
Oh,
Rings theme,
good.
so there was a shit ton of Gandalfs.
Walking.
And
A lot of walking.
when there was a ton of walking, I did a bunch of walking around this lake too, but the
Yeah.
conference thing that I was at was legitimately Lord of the Rings themed because it was a recycling conference. So there's like a whole bunch of people dressed up as like hobbits and Gandalf and
Okay.
shit.
Explain the correlation of Lord of the Rings to recycling.
They just I think it's just this conference because last year it was Wizard of Oz themed and they like do it in different places. So it's just so it's not a typical conference because it's 3 days long. It's like a party with a live band and like catered the whole time.
they-
And yeah, it's
Did
like
the Wizard of Oz one have a lot of little people on drugs? Because that seems like a Wizard of Oz kind of thing.
Well,
I don't,
mean, you gotta
I don't know. I
think,
wasn't
like,
there, man.
the-
I went this year.
You got to think the hobbits, like their environment's all clean and pretty and pristine and like it makes sense, right? I mean, Wizard of Oz even makes sense for it. Like it's recycling and whatnot, like keeping the environment nice and cleanly and.
I wonder what next
recycling.
year is going to be. The Puppetman?
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably
I don't
not.
think so either. Maybe Avatar. It'll be Avatar.
Oh,
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No.
no,
The
the
blue
other
people
one.
that fuck with their tails.
Well, then no, I'm not interested.
That sounds more like the environment and shit. Because Avatar is like Last of the Mohicans and or Last Samurai or whatever, the fucking Pocahontas and shit. It's that man is bad, which is completely acceptable because it's the truth. So, and here we are.
I don't know. I haven't really worn suits a lot, and I was wearing a lot of suits, and I kind of like it. It's not bad.
I like wearing suits. The problem I have with it, and I don't think I actually own a full suit right now, is that they're hot as shit, man.
Yeah.
They're like
Not in the mountains.
I think
Yeah,
like
maybe not.
even when I've had to wear like women's suits, they're hot. Like they're just hot. Like they trap heat in the worst places, in the worst ways. Like
I'd
rather wear a dress. Like if I'm
you're a
gonna
pretty
have
lady.
to do it,
You can accomplish that, kid.
well, but like men's suits, like they line them with silky stuff, which is fine or whatever, but it traps heat in a weird way. Like, cause like as a girl, you know, sometimes a guy will give you their suit jacket, and that's really nice. But like, I can't imagine suffering wearing that thing all day. Like, they feel like they would be miserable.
Probably. Yep.
I don't know. I've had other jackets like that, and when I got back, because I had the new suits and stuff, I got rid of a whole bunch of clothes, and one of those jackets was in the donation thing that I did. And actually, my old jacket from my old wedding, I threw it out, and a bunch of other stuff in my closet, and it felt fantastic.
I would have lit that shit on fire.
I found some other shit
I
from that shitty day too. So yeah, it's all in the
lit
garbage.
it on fire and then like set someone's face above it and let it melt.
No, you know what? I'd rather. This one time, my sister is like a medium and Reiki master and that type of stuff. She said, like if you write a note of what you feel you're holding on to, and then put it in a fire, it like, you know, that's a better way to do it. Burning like other objects and stuff, I feel like that's, I don't know, I guess it's letting go, but I feel like it's ultra negative as well, and I don't want to be negative. I'd rather just like, you know, get rid of it and move on type thing.
I mean, I think it's just the theatry of like the theatrical nature of it. Like you're throwing it out and you're just like, that's like, okay, that's like a local theater. And then when you're burning it, you're like Hollywood production. You're just amping up. You're like, instead of just like getting it out of your life, you're going, oh, I'm going to get it out of my life. And then getting it out of everyone else's life at that point too. You're just like, so
well,
I don't know. It's probably better, like you're saying, just getting rid of it. But fire makes everything more interesting.
I had that like suggested to me. Oh, you should burn it before as well. And I'm like, I felt the same way. I'm just like, no, it feels just like very negative. But yeah, I guess it's a surefire way to get rid of something.
Giggity, you surefire.
Hey-ha.
Shit, man. You guys watched anything else before we dive into The Puppetman?
I rewatched. No. I want you to talk about the series because I know you've been fucking binging.
The Fall of the House of Usher, or
yeah.
Critical Role, or
which one?
Mainly. I've been watching a lot of Critical Role. I just came across probably one of my new favorite characters in the show, even though she's an NPC and she won't be around very long. She's adorable, and I love her so much already. So I've been watching that. I'm on episode like 21 or 22 out of like 500. So I've committed. Each episode is like 4 hours long.
What the hell?
Kill me. But actually, I'm really enjoying it because I listen to it like a podcast. So
yeah,
which we will get into with this movie. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are the best. Holy fuck. And then, Fall of the House of Usher, finally finished that. It was so good. I cannot wait to rewatch it. And, I think maybe at some point it might be cool to do, like, I don't know, like, maybe we do, like, a side spinoff of just, like, anthology shows like that where we cover like one of Flanagan's and then maybe like an American Horror Story and then like maybe something else sometime as like a side thing.
We talked about the vampire one on the show, or at least Jerry and I did. I don't know if Josh, that might have been when Josh was like disappeared, but yeah, I talked about the vampire.
That was when I was
show.
Getting divorced.
Yeah,
Midnight Mass.
Yes, Midnight Mass, and I had a good time talking about that because that show, man. I still think that might be my favorite thing he's done. I haven't watched this one yet. Been kind of AFK for a little bit, but yeah, it's I'm excited to dive into it.
This one does
when I
a
get back to
great
Colorado.
social commentary. This one does a really great social commentary, and it does a really great job of showing how quickly like family dynamics can shift, and it's done really well.
Isn't this his last
This is-
thing for Netflix? though?
Netflix thing. Yeah.
Yes, he goes
But it says,
exclusively to Prime.
Oh, but it said season 1. Does that mean? Well, his are just like
All of
one-offs,
his
anyways.
stuff say season. Yeah, all of his things will say season 1. The other thing too is a lot of people are like, I'm not going to watch it because it's on Netflix and we're boycotting Netflix. And I'm like, okay, well then watch it
And
somewhere
watch it
else.
on Plex.
Yeah, watch it somewhere else. Or also keep in mind that like he's not gonna stay with them. So like if you don't really want to watch it, then whatever. But like you are missing out on really good content. And they're like, well, and then somebody had mentioned in chat today, they were like, well, we don't want to watch it because we don't want to get hooked to it and then them cancel it. And I'm like, it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Like, there's
I
not
think
a
it makes
season
it-
2 of The Fall of the House of Usher, just like there's not a season 2 of The Haunting of Hill House. There's not
It
a
almost
season
makes it
2
more
of The Haunting of Bly
palatable.
Manor.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
'cause then you
I don't
know.
need a
'Cause-
season 2 of The Fall of the House of Usher. I don't need a season
Yeah.
2 of The Haunting of Hill House. Like I don't
he
need
knows
it.
his
Even-
arc is one
wraps
season
it.
long, so he does a
Yeah.
good job of that. Which I wish people would do that more often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even Midnight Club was like, they were like, oh, they left it in place so you could do more, but you didn't need to. The show was self-contained and like, and had the, like, that was an anthology show that had the, the main story running through it too. But like,
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be a second season for it, and they canceled it because
as soon as
people
he
just
signed, the Amazon
well, and
deal,
people
they-
weren't as thrilled with it, which made me sad because like I liked it. It definitely wasn't my favorite Flanagan, but I think it was because he was trying to reach into a different demographic, and it just wasn't quite hitting the mark.
Man, that show, all the cancer kid stuff is just kind of depressing too. But like,
But I will say Ruth Codd killed it in Midnight Club. I wasn't a huge fan of her in Fall of the House of Usher, but I think it's just because she played her character so well.
yeah,
She is a great actress, and I think that's why I just don't like her that much in Fall of the House of Usher, because she played her character so well. It's the same thing with, I really, really hate Marisha's character in Critical Role right now in Mighty Nine. And the whole time I'm like, God, I cannot stand her. I cannot stand her. And everybody's like,
Yeah.
well, that's her character. And I'm like, good, because she sucks. And they're like, yeah, it's
It's-
just that character. And I'm like, okay.
No,
Okay.
she
so
sucks in
it's
real
that
life.
Character. No,
It
they're
always
like,
make-
no, she's great. And I'm like, okay, cool, bet. But like,
it's like, I always think of like when I first started hanging out with Classy Katie and watching her show that her and like Zach hooked up. The Nocturne. Her character at the beginning is such a cunt, and you're like, and she's like, I just hope everyone doesn't think I'm a cunt too. And I'm like, oh no, you play the cunt role really well. And then, like, if it was like my
She just gets
introduction to you,
typecast.
yeah, as a giant cunt. And the character grows and stuff, but at the very beginning, she's kind of unbearable. And on purpose, she was playing a specific character. And it's like when someone does something like that, you're like, I want to strangle you and hug you at the same time, because it's like, it's such a like, you can get that reaction out of someone when you're not that person. It's just like, it's an ability. And that's why like high level role players like that are like, so
Yeah.
inspiring, because it's the same like acting. Like, it's like, you think about the woman who played the bitch in the Harry Potter movie. What the fuck is her
Rita
name?
Seeker.
Yeah, and she's not a giant cunt, but like, God, you wanted to fucking slap her. It's like when someone's ability to do that and completely slip, cock punch them. You use their balls as a speed bag. Bum, 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 bum. So yep. So,
Sounds like fun.
Okay. do you guys want to dive into the Puppet Man?
Puppet Man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
This movie
Let's do
came
it.
onto my radar because it was literally just at the Calgary International Film Festival like a couple weeks ago, and then it got released like instantly onto Shudder, so it's very available. And when you hear something, because the Calgary International Film Festival has way too many movies, and I didn't even go this year, which feels weird for me because I usually at least see like
Yeah.
one standout horror movie or something. And there's just too many, and I was too busy. But this was the one that I kind of heard some rumblings
Yeah.
from. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's available. I've heard about it. It looks fucking pretty cool. And then the cameos, I knew as soon as I watched. I started with the first 20 minutes. I was like, oh, Ken is gonna fucking love this shit. So yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, I am sitting here and with Ken's other compatriot of the last podcast on the left, who he wears the last podcast on the left stuff, and I'm like, I assume that's the last podcast on the left, people, because I've never actually listened to it. And then I'm like, I don't think he got it because we were also watching it on TV that was really like the volume. We couldn't find the remote, so there's really low volume. But yeah, I'm like, so that was just them podcasting at the beginning, then, right? Like at the very beginning.
Basically, yeah, they were like podcasting, but like also like it was basically them doing side stories. So, do you want to do the description of the movie first, like we usually do, and then or do you want me to do it?
If you can do it, because I have like my setup is not the usual setup. So
sure. So, the puppet man, a convicted killer on death row, always maintained his innocence, and it was an evil force controlling his body as he slaughtered his victims. Now Michael, the killer's daughter, begins to suspect that there may be some truth to her father's claim, and those around her begin to die in brutal ways. Sorry, it like opened and then like expanded. Weird. She must try to break the curse of the puppet man before her loved ones are killed. So when it starts off, it immediately starts off. If you've ever listened to last podcast on the left, there's a side segment, which is called Side Stories, that up until the recent issues arose with Ben Kissel. There's 3 members of the last podcast on the left, which is Marcus Parks, Henry Zabrowski, and Ben Kissel. Ben Kissel's no longer with the podcast, but Henry and Ben did something called Side Stories, which was kind of like more of a like, here's current events, here's some kind of like bullshit news. Like, it's not very scripted. It's just kind of like, whatever. So when the movie starts, it's them discussing the puppet man on death row getting ready for lethal injection. So as soon as it started and they started talking, I was like, no fucking way, because I am a huge last podcast on the left listener. I listen all the fucking time. And who Rod was talking about, we both listen all the time. I wear last podcast on the left hoodie all the time, like whatever. So it was really cool. As soon as I heard it, I was like, Rod, you gotta tell 9 to watch this movie and listen to this.
Yeah, it's like the second scene. Like they have the cold opener with the dad murdering the mom. And then they go into like the 15 years later or something. I don't know what they don't have any. I don't think there was a definite time like period that they listed, but like you have a little girl and then she's in college, so 10, 15 years, something like that. Is this Josh? Was this filmed in Canada? It's like I see the Toronto stuff in New York. It seems like it was maybe in like the Buffalo area, but I'm not quite sure.
I just know that it was at the Calgary International, so it doesn't mean that it's Canadian.
The director was born in Calgary and worked in Calgary, but then he was working in Vegas. As far as the actual filming, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, that makes sense why it would be at the Calgary International Film Festival then, because I don't know if that was like its debut was in Calgary or... I'm not sure. Yeah,
all I know is that like the credits were on, and I saw New York stuff at the end, which was odd because you don't see much New York. It's not. New York is not a place that gets a lot of filming anymore because it's so goddamn expensive, right? Like you usually need like major Hollywood stuff, but like if you're doing it upstate New York, it's a little different, right? So,
it had 3 wins, 1 nomination. It was nominated for Best Graveyard Shift Feature in Nashville at the Nashville Film Festival. It won 2 awards at the Calgary International Film Festival for Late Shift and Audience Award for Best Late Show. And then it won Best Feature Film at Popcorn Frights.
Calgary! I was joking with Josh before you were on, Ken, about how it was Hereditary 2.0. A lot of the running plot points of this film remind me of Hereditary, very, very similar. they don't the
But
it doesn't.
the gags, fuck yes, the gags in this are fucking gnarly, and that's
Dude,
what like brings it over the top for me. Because like most Shudder movies, you know, because this movie has like that indie vibe, but then the gags are like really fucking well done. So
Dude,
I enjoyed that.
I will say the fucking weightlifting scene had me fucking cringing and waiting for his. Yeah, I know. But it had me waiting. It was the anticipation of the. I was just waiting for his arms.
I had to look away a few times because I hate breaking arms because of the story I've told a number of times about gym class on this show.
Yeah.
So I legitimately looked away a couple times.
Yeah,
and
I was covering up my eyes because I was like, I was waiting for his arms to go, and I'm like, and then it wasn't as bad as I thought because it was just his wrist snapped, which was way. But yeah, it got gnarly,
then his
dude.
fucking face. But
but then it's the like they did a good job of like I don't know if the effect was as good as they wanted, so they do the like they're zoomed out on it and not focused in, and it had that even it was talking about it reminded me of Better Watch Out, Josh, like in the paint can scene where you don't
they do show a lot more than Better Watch Out.
But it's not zoomed in. They don't you kind of it's like blurred out, and so you kind of have to you have to like. You don't see it.
It
right?
reminded me kind of like Final Destination type deaths too, because but like it's forcing them to do it themselves. But Final Destination is like the accidents that happen. These are like, you can't even, I don't know, you can't say it was her, even though it was her. And I also love that it was just like a long blonde haired female. Because I know a particular long blonde haired female that is also the devil, so it fits the bill. And
dude, I kept looking at her and thinking she reminded me of Felicia Day, like from the side, especially like her profile view. I was like, why does this woman look like Felicia Day to me? I don't know.
She was scary,
but
like
not,
when she is like demanding, I was like. Yeah. You fucking terrify me.
Did you guys feel like the Anna Telfer, does she not look like Elizabeth Moss? The girl, the woman that plays the main character in Handmaid's Tale? Like, I went on a deep dive trying to find out if they were related because they look so similar in the face and so.
You mean the main character?
No. The girl who plays Jo.
You know who she reminded me of? She reminded me of Dakota Johnson. That's who she reminded me of. I was like watching. I'm all watching 50 Shades of Grey over. Was who I like.
I can see that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that was who she reminded me of. She even had that like haircut, kind of like that similar thing.
I thought she. Oh fuck! Who was it? No, she's like. A shapeshifter or something, because she reminds me of like 3 different people all at the same time. Mm-hmm. And if she turns into one of them, and then she's got one of those faces.
Yeah. Dude, and the cast of this does a really good job. Like no one had, I don't know, no one had to carry all that much besides the main character, but like I feel like everyone else.
There's pockets and valleys of this movie that it pulls away and feels like an indie movie. But then there's also like it goes the other way, and then it's like, wow, this is really, really well done. And then it comes back, and then it's like, oh, that scene in particular, or just whatever. It's like, man, it feels like an indie movie again. But because the story has so much like weight and there's enough to it, and yes, hereditary-ish vibes and stuff, but because there's so much baseline for horror tropes built into this type of storyline, and they go all in with it. It fucking works and works really well, and it ends with like a potential for more. I doubt. Do you think they would do more of this, or?
I don't.
I always like when
it's not. It would have to blow up on Shudder or whatever, but. Do you want to know what the scene that made me go, oh, this is an indie? cop station scene.
I was going to bring up the cops.
Yeah.
I have a note on scenes, but anyway, go ahead. Yeah, the cop scene was great.
Yeah.
Him shooting himself, especially the guy.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, this is the most indie actor.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he looked like he was. It looked like they went to the local wrestling school and picked up like 5 or 6 guys who were like training to be wrestlers and like, hey, we need some cops. So you guys aren't doing wrestling today, so can you come do the scene and you're all gonna kill yourselves or kill other people, but have a good time with it.
We'll add all the blood in post.
Yeah, and the other scene that made me think indie was her dad in the execution scene at the end was hamming it up so hard. I was like, oh, okay.
All the main younger actors were all fucking really good, and everyone else was kind of like, even the medium had pockets of being pretty good, but then it was a lot, and then it made it feel a lot more indie. But it's also the coverage. Like, there wasn't a lot of things like cut to. So there's like one shot of a scene, and the angle they chose was the very like indie, like, oh yeah, this is the coverage we got. And I'm like, but that angle, like, that could be like, the A shot maybe. But those are the gripes.
I don't know. There were quite a few scenes with, let me double check on his name because I don't want to say his name wrong.
The douchey guy?
Not douchey boy. Just the boyfriend, Danny. That's what I thought it was. Oh. I have
the headbanger.
When Danny is sitting in the room with her and they're on the computer and he's got the laptop open and there's a picture of her dad and he's like looking at it and she tells him to close it and they just kind of like sit there. It's like just a little bit long enough to make it so fucking awkward that it's not just awkward like in the awkward sense, but in the it was edited poorly then. Yeah, like it was very awkward. Also, I will never get over Charlie's mom, the way she says thesis, because she says theses, and it made me laugh. To the point that I wrote down theses, raffle. And then
it shouldn't rhyme with feces, that's for sure.
Yeah. There were like quite a few moments like that in it where I was just like, I don't know if it's like a pronunciation thing or what, but like it was really funny. And then there were moments where it was just a smidgen too long where I was like, and I wasn't trying to be nitpicky, but at the same time I was like, oh, so close.
But at the end of the movie, for me, like, and I 100% I felt those same things going along, but then as I got further in and after those like crazy gags, I was like, you know what? I'm all in. They've done enough good that I will let go of those like gripes that I have, and I'm on this ride and really fucking ended up fucking enjoying this movie a lot, and would still recommend it even for people that don't like indie.
Yeah.
I think that my biggest like gripe with this whole thing was they kind of like, and this is like, again, and I'm not saying don't go watch it because I enjoyed it a lot. I think that at the end they kind of like it seemed indecisive about how to really shut down the demon and the demon lore and all this stuff that like
I love the smile though.
Yeah. Well, they had this whole setup where they're like, oh yeah, she can't know because then the demon knows. And then they have like, it goes in and all of a sudden she knows how to transfer the demon into the father. But
there wasn't enough explanation of that as well. So.
Yeah. And that was the stuff I'm like, well, he just all of a sudden, and then the father completely overacts in the fucking, they have this thing. Okay. So the demon can control people, right? How did they expect him with the demon in him not to like stop everyone from executing him, right? And that's kind of was like the thing.
They kept saying trick the fucking trickster, and that was their only explanation. Let's just trick the trickster. It's like, okay, but we're gonna trick the trickster.
How did you know how to transfer the fucking demon into the fucking father? They have anything with that, and it's yeah.
It was just a big trick. So the medium obviously knows that it's still
Yeah.
in her.
Yeah. And dude, could you find a fucking cheaper way to leave a note for someone than like writing it on $20 bills or $100 bills or whatever the fuck was going on? It's like, I'm gonna write 7 words. I'm gonna
Well, no,
write
because
like
she was
7
giving
words out.
a refund, right? Like of
I
their
know.
money.
I understand that, but I'm like,
But she did it in Sharpie.
yeah,
You can
on
still
the-
spend
yeah.
those bills though.
And you were talking about the girl scaring you. That was her best scene in the movie. I feel like was when she's in the car with the
Oh.
dude that wants her, and she's just like, "What did she give you?" And then it's just like,
Then she was in a hardcore band.
yeah, I liked her. I think she held, she carried the movie well enough for what like they
Yeah.
needed from her. You know what I mean? And so it was like, okay, yeah, you scary bitch, you scary.
I love the opening bit though with her friend on the like. Why are they partying on a rooftop anyways? But
When
like
it's
when they
freezing
said
out.
when they said her eyes look the same. She looked terrified of me when she's not sure of what is going on or what's inside her yet and stuff. I love
Yeah.
that like revelation, and it sat with me like good. I was like, oh, whoa, that was awesome. Like when you see someone's dead
Yeah.
eyes and they're afraid of you, and you don't know that you're the one potentially. Oh, I don't know.
Well,
It
dude,
was good.
They did a really good job of that with the death scenes specifically, like the father at the beginning, like when he's like run, and the mother's just like what,
Mhm.
and then the
I
the
feel like if you're
weightlifting
going to
when
do a
he's-
cold open, it has to have enough weight. And
Yeah.
a guy coming in and like not having control and doing that is fucking gnarly, and enough weight
Yeah.
for a cold open for you to be like, oh, fuck, the stakes in this movie are fucking medium rare.
Yeah. It's got that setup too, where it's that like a lot of like I'm thinking about now, and I don't know why all of a sudden I thought of The Black Coat's Daughter, which is like a gnarly fucking indie movie. If either one of you has never seen it, it's worth doing at
Which
some
one?
point in this podcast. But The Black Coat's Daughter, it does this. It's like about these girls at a school on a break, kind of like that part of it, and it bounces around, but it's gnarly as shit. It's metal. It's really metal. But yeah, the very like dark, like a lot of this film is, which I think it gives that indie vibe, right? Because you're like, oh, we're just gonna be in the dark and not like,
Roberts.
Emma Roberts. Yep, that movie's gnarly.
I'll put it on my list.
And it's one of those movies too where you're just like, what just happened? Yeah, because the ending is like a little wild, but yeah. So
I wouldn't mind.
ugh,
Wouldn't mind.
yeah.
You haven't suggested a movie in a while, man. So if that's your suggestion for next week, we can do it.
We could do that. I would do that. I would watch that wild movie again. It's one of those like. Yeah, I mean, I have movies. Oh, no, I have stuff to suggest. I mean, I think the last one might have been Martyrs. I don't know. It's been a while, like 10 episodes, but I don't know. I get into
Right.
things where I'm like, I'm just watching things, but yeah. What was your favorite death in the movie? We were talking about the weightlifting. We were talking about the book scene, man. That was pretty fucking like. That might have been I don't know. The book was pretty crazy.
The only thing about the book scene that was upsetting is I wanted to read the book. I wanted more of the book. I was so disappointed with how little we got from the book. Like, and the book was so important to her, like to the psychic or whatever. Like, it was so important. She could not see this book. We got to read like 4 lines from this book, and they were useless.
I felt
And
like
then-
most of the stuff with her was supposed to be so weighty, but it all ended up flat like that for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying earlier. I was like, they wanted this heavy demon mythology or the hereditary thing, right? Like where you get the whole like pagan thing and whatever the fuck is Paluzu, where the fuck his name was, but you get that that like, oh, this is the long con, blah blah. And this you just got, oh, we did a ritual and he chose you, and you don't have any context in what he is. You like, we say demon, and there's the cult of Dolos, right? Was the book the cult of Dolos, I think was what it was called. And you're sitting there and like, okay, cool, but then nothing. You don't get any explanation. You don't get like how it does it. You don't get anything like that. And it's just like, that's why that ending is like, I think the biggest stumble in the whole film, because you don't have, how is she supposed to transfer it? How is this supposed to happen? You don't know any of that. And you don't go into any detail. Like Ken said, that book was just like a plot tool to like kill that Joe girl.
Speaking of books, I forgot that I watched the first 2 episodes of the new Goosebumps show, and those were the only books I read when I was a kid. So to see the originals, read the books, and now see the remakes, and Justin Long is in it, getting to be like very Justin Long-y. I'm like, this is, it's got the cheese factor, but it's fucking really, I'm excited that it's back, that this is what the teenage like audience is getting to. The amount of like nostalgia porn that horror IPs are getting now is, I'm all in for it, because I loved Goosebumps growing up. And did you guys ever watch the TV series?
I did, yeah, back in the day.
I
think I only watched a few, but I read the books. I read some of the books. I remember the pool book really messing with me, and then like a couple of the others.
Oh,
have you been talking about the Goosebumps show, Ken, or am I crazy?
No, Josh has.
Yeah,
okay.
I knew it was coming.
I thought you had been watching it. Oh, yeah, okay. I heard someone talking about it somewhere, and I'm losing my goddamn mind. I thought you were talking about it on stream, Ken. But
no, it was me on this show.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where I was listening to someone talk about it then. Where the fuck was that? I don't fucking know. But yeah, I have to check it out. I mean, Justin Long is wonderful.
He gets to just be like completely Justin Long in this too. So I'm happy that he's there again. It's so many of the roles that he's already played kind of mashed up all into one. I'm like, he gets to be like funny and then creepy, and then I'm stoked.
Are they like just redoing books? Is that what they're doing? But
instead of it being one-offs like the old show was, it's a continuous story arc.
Okay.
For the season. So it's like, they connect in, instead of it being like the one book is a whole bunch of new characters. It's like all these fucked up things are all in one big fucked up town. So Goosebumps is just like, so say cheese and die. The camera is also there next to the mask, next to the, whatever.
Oh, okay.
So there's like a whole, it's cool. I like that they did it.
It's on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely like, the cheese is what I'm like. It's the Disney-ified cheese that you, but it's still PG-13 enough that I'm satisfied.
Oh, I was like talking to people today about Goosebumps, and then like R.L. Stein, and then about the Fear Street stuff and how it gets metal as shit, like in the bread.
I want bread more.
Cutter.
Netflix has got to do more Fear Street, because they fucking killed it.
Yeah. I don't know where the fucking rights for all that shit are, man. Like, how...
Did you see it,
like,
Ken?
Nickelodeon's...
The Fear Street stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were really good. I liked those.
Metal as fuck.
The Paramount owns Nickelodeon, and Goosebumps was there, and they must have lost the rights, and then... Because now Disney has them, and it's just like, okay, shit's all over the place.
As long as we're getting it, we're getting... the Jason thing from A24 too. So there's a lot to look forward to.
With Miramax getting the Michael Myers one, the Halloween show. So, which is funny because Miramax won those rights. I don't know if you saw that. So they're partial owners of the movie rights. So they've been making money off of all those.
I thought Miramax went under for a bit, and then now it's back under a different banner or something.
I don't know. All I know is that Miramax is a thing, I guess, which I didn't realize. Still, it's funny, man. Like, I don't know.
The beginning of that old Dad's movie, and it was a Miramax one, and I was like, Miramax, what the fuck?
Dude, I mean, like every time I watch a new movie, like the fucking production houses are all over the place, right? They're like all the ones that used to be there, like when we were kids, are all over the place. Like there's like new ones, right? You don't have the old ones. Like Hollywood's been changing a lot the last few years, and I don't know, man. We still don't have the actors strike resolved, which doesn't fucking help, and it's delaying stuff. Like they delayed Deadpool for next year, which bums me out until like October, and it was supposed to come out in like March or May.
Still not thrilled with the fact that there's a possibility of Taylor Swift being a part of that universe. I'm not okay with it.
But
The look on Kim's face if you aren't watching the video.
Like, she is so good at
She's great.
cross-pollinating audiences.
She's great at what she does. She will kill it. There is no hate here, like none. I'm just burnt out. Like,
yeah.
I think as what she does, she damn well better. If she can do it, she damn well better. Absolutely. I just don't want it personally.
But
she damn well
boyfriends
better. My opinion doesn't fucking matter. Like, but
as advertising, and like now that she's dating a football guy or whatever, I'm totally into sports, as you can tell. NFL
Sports
has
ball.
such a massive audience that she's like, you know what? That's an audience that I haven't tapped yet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking date someone that plays football and get that audience on my side. Boom. She's the biggest person in the fucking universe now. So,
dude,
good for her.
I was saying in things how Hollywood is not a fan of Taylor Swift because she took the studios out of the picture for that movie and lost those studios a ton of money because
it's making bank right now, right?
Well, the problem with that is too, it's the formula for how to not need a studio, which is a fucking problem for these motherfuckers because studios don't do much besides, they front a lot of the front end stuff, but they take a lot of this, they make the deals with the theaters and do all that shit, and Taylor's like, okay, fuck you guys, I'll do it, and just went directly to AMC.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's no studios involved in that film. They basically, studios finance films, right? So if you have someone who can finance it.
Yeah, she's got enough money to fucking fart and it's done.
Yeah, she has enough money to fucking do whatever the fuck
Every
she
time
wants,
I see a picture of her, I think I saw this on that Instagram feed, Shithead Steve or whatever, but why does it always look like she's trying to like fart into the mic in every picture? It's like, oh.
Because she's weird, man. That woman has had enough toxic relationships, it seems like, that she's an odd duck. She's really talented, but she's really odd at the same time, it seems like. So Ken, what was your favorite death in this? I mean, did you have one of the favorite, like...
I mean, I kind of found the very first kill with the father and the mother to be very interesting because just that slow, just like he's just pushing the knife in. Like, there's just something really unnerving about that.
Yeah.
Like, because when it happened, I put myself in her shoes, like, legitimately sitting there watching it. And I was like, if my husband looked at me and was like, run, and held up a knife, I mean, my first instinct, as stupid as she looked, would probably be to be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, it would not really sink in to be like, oh, I should probably get the fuck out. Like, okay, you know, like I would be like, honey, you're being silly. Like, put the fucking knife down. What are you
Especially
doing?
because you're on a horror podcast and, like there's a lot of like horror movies and whatever. It could be like a really sick joke thing. Yeah.
And then, I mean, by the time the blade is in your skin, like, I'm pretty sure that she wasn't going to be able to just step back, like, so for me, that was really unnerving. I have this thing with eyes, like, I was kind of glad that this year was kind of the year of the eye. Like, a lot of movies this year fucked around with eyes, which I thought was kind of cool, but also at the same time, it really fucks with me. So when the book was burning and her eyes like melted,
it looks like my witch outside. She has no eyes, and it literally, it just looked like that to me. So, but I liked that because it was right next to, and they were playing it side by side with the guy working out, and I was like, that was
his
the
eyes.
Yeah.
There's
and then
an eye scene in the fall of the house. Well, there's a lot of eye scenes in the fall of the House of Usher. So I mean, like, that was pretty good. You know. Like,
But you know what's even better about that opening scene? I actually think the context in that when she talks to the father at the end makes it even better, because he's like, I wanted to slit my own throat and it wouldn't let me. Like,
yeah, that was
he
gnarly.
wanted to kill himself, and he was just like, oh, this shit is just. That's why, like, I wanted more about this Holos or whatever the fuck it was. You know, like,
Dolos.
what is it? Yeah, Dolos. Yeah, sorry. Like, what is it? What, like, I mean, it just, like, they give you enough that's intriguing, and then you're like, because
Well,
they do this. They leave
It's
you
like the
these
thing
things
with
like
Talk to Me. Like, there wasn't a lot of explanation on purpose. And you were like, man, I wish they explained it more. But they already have a sequel coming out. They don't need to. And I
Yeah.
felt the same way with this. It's like, well, it wasn't done as eloquently as Talk to Me.
yeah.
But
I think
yeah.
if it leaves you wanting more, that's okay. But like, I think that they use it to not have to like
Yeah.
like explain shit. Like the ending specifically, her and the
It didn't
passing
wrap
the
up as
demon and all this shit.
nicely as Talk to Me.
Yeah.
And leave you wanting
And-
more, even though
yeah.
it was set up for sequel bait, the smile.
Yeah, and I think that like
I don't need another
again,
one, to be
no.
honest.
Yeah. I just like if we would have gotten a little more, and I often wonder if that's like a writing thing and like they don't know how to write it, or it's a choice of like, oh yeah, they'll leave them wanting even more. But it's like you have this thing where like, and again, the hereditary that's what like is like harder with it, because you're like, oh, like the hereditary comparison, it's because it shares a lot of the same plot elements, right? Like this kid got a demon put in her by two shitty parents, and like you're like, oh, okay, and then you don't know anything about Dolos. You don't know how they did it. You kind of have this ritual that they kind of show you like when in flashbacks, and then they almost make her like a superhero at some point of like, you know, taking out creepazoids in the fucking in the foster system and shit like that, right? They're like, yeah, this guy raped me, and so I made him hang himself, and it's just like, what? And yeah, I don't know. It is all very weird, and it's also very weird. Like, how do you? They talk about the Pied Piper. They talk about one of the things that Ken, I'm sure you've listened to podcasts about the dancing fever thing that happened in Europe. They like kind of like are kind of pointing to this demon for that. And again, I say demon just assuming because there's no explanation. And which is some intriguing stuff, right? Like that dancing, like people like dance themselves to death in Europe when like in the 1600s or some shit like that, 1500, where the fuck it was. And it's an intriguing story. So they're like tying it to these cool pieces of history and cool folks tales like fucking the Pied Piper, right? And then you're just like, okay, cool. Like, what is like? And you have a demon that's so powerful that it can control other people to make them do this cracked out shit. It's very like, yeah, it like you have a cool concept and you have some gnarly deaths like we were talking about, and I just wish they would have been like done something. And I don't know, it's that indie thing, man. I don't need an explanation. Like, I don't need a full-on explanation, but give me something instead of just like, woo, magic, and it's done. You know?
Yeah. That's why I really wish we would have had more of the book.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the perfect, like, or giving us a little more time with the like the psychic, the medium, right? Like the medium seemed to know what was going on, and they that was another thing. They used the fucking, you can't say it around her because then it knows, to not give us information, right? That was like, it was like they were using every plot element they could to not give us information.
Or texting
So,
the person knowing that he's right with her, like, don't tell her. It's like,
Yeah, that was stupid as fuck.
who was
They're
it?
like,
No one. I have
it was
ways of
my
making you tell.
friend from Econ. Yeah, I think that there's
Your
a lot
mom.
of really
Oh wait, she's dead. Fuck.
There's a lot of good stuff, and I enjoyed this film. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of good stuff, and it's like they stumbled over a couple silly things, and I think that's okay because it's a Shudder film, right? It's like a film that's Shudder. Like it's another thing that like people. Shudder is one of those services that has so much classic content, but it's also putting out their own content all the time. That stuff like this is just like a fun watch.
You
Like,
know what?
I don't know, man.
Looks fucking gnarly. The newest VHS, which is another Shudder original, but like we're getting them, I think, once a year now. But this one, I watched the trailer and it looks fucking gnarly. Like
I want
way
to
more
watch
gnarly
that
than
for
other
the podcast. Yeah, actually, let's do that next week instead of Black Coat's Daughter. We could do Black Coat's Daughter soon, but like, I want to do that. I want to watch that VHS 84.
Have you? No, it's not 84, or is it 84? That's this one? Yeah,
It's 84, I think.
Yeah.
Just telling me no before you even know what the fuck is going on, Josh.
What? No, I thought the last one that we just watched was Eat My Dick.
94. Eat my dick.
Yeah, somebody came in chat the other day and said the new one was really good.
It looks fucking like intense. So
Why are you watching trailers, Josh? We've gone over this.
I'm back on the train because I don't have enough time to watch everything anymore.
85.
So I want to.
Oh, it's 85? Okay.
85? The year I was born? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Didn't you just have a birthday, Josh?
Yeah.
Where's your birthday coming up?
No, on the 11th.
Well, happy birthday. You beautiful man.
Oh, yeah. You weren't here. Kin sang
Yeah.
me happy birthday last week and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was very,
Happy
very pleasant.
birthday to Daddy Josh.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday to Daddy Josh.
Daddy
Happy
Josh.
birthday, Daddy Josh.
Daddy Joshua.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh. See, the thing I love about these VHS movies is that they keep getting, what's his name? The poster
Worse.
guy.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just
Worse?
kidding. Just kidding.
What is his name? Why am I fucking blanking? You know who I'm talking about. Rodder.
Didn't Scott Derrickson do one of the shorts in this one?
This
I
one has
read-
bigger directors. I'm talking about the poster,
Yeah.
though. It's, what's his name?
You mean the Irishman? Fucking now I'm having a brain fart. I can't think of it either.
Yeah,
Wolf.
it just,
What am I?
I'm ADD'd.
I don't know.
I'm ADD'd out.
We talk about him
Can
all
I-
the time on here.
I know.
Side note: while you're ADD and trying to think of what you were remembering with VHS, I'm gonna side way the fuck back. The actress in the Puppetman, the majority of the movies that she's
Creepy
been in
Duck.
average.
He did the poster for this. Sorry.
2.6 stars on IMDb. You're welcome.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
So she's been in some real stinkers, huh?
So it was Creepy Duck design, and he did this poster too, by the way.
Dude, this
Poster is sick.
you know what the poster for this film reminds me of? It reminds me of the Giallo films we've done. It looks very 80s.
But
It's
I
very
love that
Giallo looking.
the 3 is on here too, like the blood, but it's also strings.
Yeah, I
I-
didn't even notice that. Also, the other thing you just made me think of it. That one of the things that made me crack up about this film and it was a little hokey was that we have to cut the strings. I'm like, oh, okay, because it's the Puppet Man. We have to cut the string. That Charlie kept saying before she died at the beginning, or like halfway through, whatever it was. Yeah, that kind of cracked me up. It's
was good.
funny. Like I
It
don't.
was good.
The Charlie reminded me of the chick from Talk to Me. By the way, I don't know why. But she reminded me of her for some reason. But
That girl in Talk to Me was fucking fantastic. She's been in like not
Yeah.
a lot of things either, and that just makes it even better when someone comes out of nowhere and is that fucking good. Wow.
yeah, dude. I was laughing because the three things in blood especially reminded me of a lot of things. It's been a logo they've been using a lot. The former guest of the show, Ezekiel the Third, that's his logo. The 3 red lines for the third. But like the Creed 3, like a lot of these movies have been using that. So like it's a very simple, effective logo, man. It just like that weird. Especially they use it with her. Also, the sleepwalking sequences in this movie are fucking great too. Like like her sleepwalking and just almost falling off the fucking roof. I'm not quite sure why the father says at some point, or the medium says, I forget who, I think it was the medium, like when after everyone, oh no, maybe it was the father, but after it's killed everyone you love, it will get rid of you too. So that was like a like, what's the end goal of this though? But I don't know. I thought this movie was a ton of fun, man. It's that indie thing where I think the writing needed to be cleaned up a little bit, but like everything else was pretty good. Like that. I mean, what, Josh? What are you?
I don't know what
about?
the fuck I'm doing.
I mean, I never knew what I'm doing. So we're gonna
Not
do VHS 85 then next week.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
It's got a consistent score. I've been noticing like the fucking Rotten Tomatoes thing is all over the place on random ass movies. Like it'll be 4% and then like 89 on the audience, and I'm like, what the fuck? But this one is right there, 74 and 71, and I like that because when it's that far off, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with this movie? Like if the audience is liking it that much, and all the critics are like, fuck you. It's like, what the fuck? It doesn't make sense.
Well, it's weird with horror because it's like it's usually either it's super high concept, and then it will be like the film critics will love it, and then the audience is like, what the fuck? Or it'll be like a slasher, like a Friday the 13th movie, right? And then like the audience will love it, and the fucking like reviewers like, fuck this, you know? So it's one of those things you're like, oh, okay, fuck it. Fuck it in its ass.
Fuck this shit.
Fuck it. Fuck. Okay.
Fuck it.
But if you've been listening to this and you haven't watched this movie, it's worth a watch. It's fun. It does and it's in the 90-minute range. It's like 96 minutes or something like that. So it's that perfect time frame.
That guy, I don't think you weren't here last week. I was telling Kin about this guy who ganked one of my posters and printed it on like a blanket or something, but he has a following on TikTok and it got like 145,000 likes or something, and he's posting my stuff on Instagram again, but he's tagging me in it now instead of not giving me so I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on my social? All of a sudden a bunch of people are liking my shit.
I'm glad he's making money off of your artwork, Josh.
I know, right? Well, no, he didn't print it for sale. He printed it for himself, and it was just a TikTok of him showing it, and that.
Oh, which poster was it?
My Scream 1 poster with all the characters on it, and then Ghostface over top of the house. I love that one.
That's
it's
what
a
you
good
get for
poster. So I like that.
Great.
Yeah, I like that people are liking it.
We need more Josh posters when you're not as busy.
I know. I feel. Well, it doesn't pay the fucking bills, man. Like, I have a bunch of clients now, which is awesome. I wanted it to go in that direction because I have way more fun making fucking horror movie posters, but
I know.
It
and
takes
I'm not giving
a lot
you shit.
of time. No, I know you're not.
I appreciate your artwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
It makes it more valuable now, though.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, this movie's fun though. It's a good time. Check it out if you want like a little indie kind of a Hereditary kind of feel with like more a little. I mean, it's not. It's an indie feel, I'll put it that way. So it's worth it though.
It's a great feel.
And I'll be back. I'll be back in Colorado next week, so I won't be as jank sitting on a bed trying to like go. So
I love it.
Okay, guys. Let us give us our plugs and we'll get out of here. Murdermoose.com. Go to YouTube. Find Murder Moose Podcast there. Watch us there. Subscribe to the channel. All the things. Go to murdermoose.com. Buy some gear. The Murder Moose, you could look wonderful in Murder Moose swag.
Buy merch.
Go to
merch. Buy. Hey, my mic didn't cut out today.
Go to joshwrb.com and get him for your services. He'll give you good services. By the way,
he gives you the best service. What?
When driving from Reno to Vegas, there is a alien brothel, and it is one. I gotta send you a picture, but it just made me giggle. Also, along with all the Area 51 stuff, but
There's also that movie that just came out from Tom DeLonge that is an alien movie. Like he wrote and directed.
Oh yeah. Also,
I'm assuming it's nonfiction.
Yeah, it's a documentary thing.
Yeah, it's a science fiction adventure, like actual movie. So it's Monsters of California, and then there's like Blink-182 songs in it as well. So it doesn't look that good, but it's a thing directed by Tom DeLonge. Yeah, it's on.
Is it on Plex? Okay.
I also drove by the Clown Motel, which is the most horrifying hotel in the world, especially for Clown Dick himself. So I just wanted to tell you about Clown Dick.
Oh shit! He's back.
It's back, motherfuckers. It's back.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so go to joshwrb.com and hire Josh to do some shit. And go to Kintinue.com and follow her stream and do all the shit. And I am Rod_Johnston on Twitch and Twitter. So follow me there. And we will catch you guys next week. And we're going to do VHS 85, the newest VHS film. I want to do Black Coat's Daughter. We could do that the week after. But I fucking want to see this movie. And I haven't had any time. So let's go. So VHS 85. Yeah. And thanks for holding on the fort without me last week, guys. You beautiful people. And
we burned it down. There's no fort left. Only Zool.
I love sending you this one for everything.
I sent that to like 4 people yesterday. They were very confused. I sent it with 0 context and no follow-up. So
yeah, that's how I do it. That's how you're supposed to do it.
I know. It was the best.
Okay, guys. We will catch you motherfuckers next week. Thank you for listening. We love you. Have a good one. Take it easy. And bye! Bye!
It's in the game.
Oh.